at least twice a week.
This special meeting of the Navasota City Council is called to order on Monday, the 7th of August in council chambers. Let the record show all council members are present. Welcome. Thank you for being here this evening. We ask that you put your cell phones in the silent mode. And visitors, please sign in. If you wish to speak under visitors' remarks, please fill out the form found in back. State your name and address at the podium, as we must document all meeting business, and remarks limited to 3 minutes. Tonight's invocation will be led by Councilmember Harris and followed by the pledges.
Our descending, O gracious and heavenly Father, Father, as we come, we ask for life, we ask for strength, and we ask for understanding. Father, we pray for this city, we pray for this county, we pray for this nation. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Just a couple of things to note for this week. The 9th on Wednesday is Coffee with the Chamber at Classic Rock Coffee at 9 a.m. The 10th, Thursday, 8 p.m. is Meet the Rattlers at Rattler Stadium. And then we have the August Farmers Market this Saturday at the library. There were no...
No, sir, there's no remarks, visitors.
All right. Item 4, consideration and possible action on proposals for employee benefits for fiscal year 23-24.
Peggy Johnson, Human Resource Director. Matt Miller, council members. Tonight, we are to consider possible action on proposal for employees' benefits for the fiscal year of 2023-24. To promote a healthy and a wellness workforce, the City of Navasota provide medical insurance benefits to all full-time employees. Currently, the city is part of the Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool, which pools multiple municipality workforces into a pool to reduce the cost of providing health care to their employees. Previously, the city contracted with Brinson Benefit to provide third-party consultation to assist the city of Navasota to administer these health care benefits. Early this year in April, the city changed third-party health care consultants to Hub International, and it's at the same cost to the city as Brinson Benefits, which is a much larger health care benefit consultant with many years of proven experience. Staff began working with the new consultants to analyze the health care needs of our workforce for the upcoming fiscal year of 2023-24. TML notified the city that there would be a 13% increase in our medical plans premiums. Therefore, the city decided to go out for requests for proposals for employees' benefits for the new fiscal year. Staff has been working along with the HUD International, who secured the proposals for the City Hub, informed staff that the city's last 24-year premium versus claims experience with TML was a 53% loss ratio. The Affordable Act target loss ratio was 85%. HUB projections showed the city's rate are 10 to 12% higher than needed based on their analysis. So tonight we have Julian Fortana, the senior account executive with HUD International here to present a presentation on the request for proposals. And after he completes his presentation, then we're asking the staff is recommending the city council to accept the bid submitted for employees' health care benefits, as well as the recommendation for HUD International, and authorize the city manager to sign and execute all necessary contracts and agreements for the fiscal year of 2023-24. Healthcare benefits included but not limited to medical, dental, vision, life insurance, AD&D, and long and short-term disability benefits. At this time, I would like to present to the council Julian Fortan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. And my name is Julian Fontana. I'm with HUB International. Appreciate the opportunity to be here, Mr. Mayor, Council. And we've been working with the city for the last 4 months in putting this program together and evaluating the benefit programs. HUB presently represents over 100 different municipalities in the state of Texas, large self-funded clients as well as small and medium fully insured clients. And so part of our due diligence was to come in and look at all of the city's benefits and really take them under our umbrella in terms of seeing what the market would bear and leveraging our relationships to find the most high quality benefits at the most affordable price for the city. And that's what we've done here. So that's what this presentation goes through. If there's any questions at any time, please don't hesitate to stop me or go ahead. That's it. We're going to push this. Where am I pointing it at? Up here? There we go. So a quick overview, and then covering the medical, dental, vision summary, then looking at life and disability, long and short-term disability, as well as the life AD&D. And then the city offers a variety of voluntary employee benefits that are, under a work site voluntary benefit offering: accident, cancer, critical illness, hospital indemnity, and there'll be a permanent insurance offering. And then our recommendations. I'm going backwards. Winner. Okay. So we did conduct a RFP for all the benefits effective 10/1/2023. Main objectives aligns with the city's objectives and supported by management and council. The carriers need to have superior member service and claims processing ability. We looked at opportunity to proactively meet service needs, willingness, experience, and capability to effectively administer the programs and support during the implementation process. Right now, the city does have a Texas Municipal Health Pool with a $2,500 deductible plan, and that's what we went to market asking for, the closest matching benefits. With many of the carriers, United Healthcare, Blue Cross, Aetna, Cigna, they are, for fully insured groups of the city size, they're kind of template type programs. So the closest matching best price program was with Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is also the underlying carrier for the city's program with Texas Municipal Health. And it matched very favorably. There is an increase in the out-of-pocket maximum to $5,500 from $4,000 currently. But other than that, the benefits mostly remained unchanged. And then if we look at the premium, as Peggy mentioned, the TML increase for the same benefits plans was 13% increase, and the comparable plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield came in at 8% below that. There are a number of value-added programs which I included on the next slide. Just, virtual visits became very powerful over the pandemic, and still a great opportunity for people to receive care, easy access without the inconvenience of necessarily having to go to a doctor's office visit. The EAP benefit is being replaced with ComPsych under Blue Cross Blue Shield. There'll be 5 EAP visits included. There's a variety of member rewards programs. Virtual visits with catapults for wellness screenings will also be offered. So it's a very comprehensive program, maybe offers a few more things than what we previously had in the current plan. So the medical contributions up above, I have the current plan for 22-23 shows the total contributions of $892,401, and then the bottom section is the 23-24 showing the $819,293. So it's $63,000 savings to the city, $9,610 to the employee. So we're able to deliver comparable benefits and take a little bit of out-of-pocket premium costs right off of the employee.
I just want to ask you a question, not necessarily about this, but I know that sometimes insurance companies will offer a better rate when you come into them, and then a year later say, oh, well, you've been with us for a year,
Right.
so we'll increase your number because you're probably going to stick with us anyway. Over your experience, what do you think will happen? And I know that you don't have a crystal ball, but is there the potential that these rates will go up after the year?
Always with healthcare. So we're definitely, expecting an increase. So medical inflation trend is 7.4% for 2023, and prescription was 9.8%. But we knew going in that the cities was paying more than it's expected. So we have an actuarial tool where we'll start looking at the plan experience before renewal again next year and projecting what we think the increase is. There's always considerations with ongoing large claimants, if those are a consideration or not. But at 95 lives, the city's benefits the group isn't credible in terms of its experience, and so really it's going to be based more on Blue Cross Blue Shield's book of business for small group municipalities in Texas than it is on your own experience. But we would expect some type of trend increase, and again, it depends on how the plan continues to run. It had run very favorable loss ratio below the ACA 85% threshold, and so if that's maintained, then we would expect a favorable renewal, and if not, we'll have to negotiate that as best we can, but we'll be ahead of the curve on what to expect.
Okay.
If you remember last year, TML kind of told us, hey, you can't go out for bids, and if you do, we're going to, the increase that we're proposing, which I think was 10%, we're going to go back and recapture your COVID claims, and that could push you up even higher. And so this year, in bringing Hub International on, we wanted to go out to the market. We didn't even tell TML where we're going out to the market, and these were the rates. So again, we will continue with Hub International working with Julian to
Yeah, so
each
even if
year.
it was an 8% increase, we're still, if we stayed with the same company, we're still below that.
Correct.
Considerably.
Yeah.
Were these rates guaranteed for 12 months?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
All,
didn't see
all
that.
fully insured health insurance is 12 months. Currently, the city has Guardian for the dental benefits, and so we did an RFP for comparable dental plans, matching benefits, but then also looked at threshold when we do a public entity benchmark, and noticed that the orthodontia benefit was not the same as the $2,000 annual benefit maximum. If you've ever had a child with orthodontia, which we all have, $1,000 doesn't go very far toward the cost of that. So we're recommending that it's a $2,000 lifetime orthodontia benefit maximum, which is more in line with the benchmark. And so when we looked at the current plan versus the proposed rates, Guardian was at a 9% increase for the premiums based on the current $1,000 maximum benefit, and the best offer was with Renaissance, benefits matching $2,000 maximum on both orthodontia and the regular came in at 14% above. So a small change there. When we look at the contributions and premiums changed there, the current rates are above, showing the $48,000, $48,067 in annual expense. The new plan is $54,000. Primarily, it's picked up by the city, pays for 100% of the employee-only coverage, it's $3,600. And then you can see there's only one tier for dependent coverage, and that cost increase is $6.37 a month. So if I was one of the people that had a kid with a job, I'd be happy to pay $6 a month for another $1,000 worth of orthodontia coverage. So I think we did pretty good here. These do have a multi-year rate guarantee, either 2 or 3 years. I don't know if I had that on the prior slide, but I have an analysis on that at the end. So with all of the other lines of coverage beyond medical, we asked for a minimum of 2 years rate guarantee or 3 years rate guarantee. On the vision benefits, the plan going away with TML with IMED, I'm sorry, I'm on slide 13 now. The vision benefits, we're moving to Vision Services Plan. VSP is the largest provider of vision services in the United States. It is an increase in premiums, but when you look at it as it's broken down between what you're paying today and what the employees pay today, the increase for the better network and the better benefits with vision services plans, it's $1.99 a month more on employee spouse, $2.10 for children, and then employee full family is $2.67. So we're happy with that recommendation as well.
And I'm sure that you've looked at this. Renaissance VSP, there are people here that take that insurance?
Vision services plan is taken everywhere for the most part.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's the same thing with the medical, with the dental?
Dental, yes, sir. We've done that research on that. Third section is basic life and AD&D benefits, voluntary life, long-term and short-term disability. The city provides a flat $30,000 life benefit, $5,000 for spouse and $2,000 for child. That's paid for by the city, and there's currently, once you turn 65, the benefit reduces. And we've seen, especially among our municipal clients that have a more tenured workforce, that's a negative. They should get $30,000. If you turn 65 or you're 70, you should get $30,000 worth of benefits. So one of the intents of the RFP was to have a life benefit with no age reduction, and so that was achieved. We're able to reduce the monthly or the annual premium from $69.08 to $53.45. And that's a 3-year rate guarantee on the life. And then similarly on the voluntary piece of it, we were able to remove the age reduction schedule, but still offer the full employee maximum buy up to $500,000 with $100,000 guaranteed. And you can see the rates per age group have all decreased pretty considerably for the voluntary life. At this
Noticed on the group life that it requires 100% participation.
Yes, sir. The city pays all of that coverage, so all employees are covered 100%.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, good question. Good question. With the new voluntary life carrier and offering, it's going to be what they call a true open enrollment or a full open enrollment. So anyone who maybe didn't purchase the voluntary life initially can buy $100,000 this time with no questions asked. Anybody that has more than that now would be grandfathered. Their coverage would continue in the new carrier at the, if they had $250 or something like that. But anyone is eligible to purchase up to the guaranteed issue amount this open enrollment. That was on your wish list, wasn't it? Voluntary long-term disability, replacing the Sun Life benefits. The Sun Life currently has the life and disability. We're able to improve the monthly maximum benefit to a monthly maximum of $6,000 versus the current $5,000, and the premiums substantially reduced across the board for that coverage as well. Voluntary short-term disability, Again, we looked at the benchmark on the salaries and the maximum benefits and felt like it needed to get increased up to $1,500. We were able to do that at no increase in cost. There's a slight reduction, not as great as we saw on the other, because voluntary short-term is much more commonly used benefit than long-term disability or life insurance. Any questions on that section? Okay.
If an employee leaves, can they pay a premium to continue?
Life insurance?
Life insurance.
They can. It's not the same rate that they pay under the group.
Sure, yeah. But they can do that.
Portability or conversion, I think, are the two provisions. So the voluntary worksite, these are totally optional and paid for by the employees. We're partnering with First Financial Group. First Financial Group is going to be taking over the administration of the flexible spending account, dependent care accounts, the health reimbursement accounts, COBRA administrative services. I think that's it. Yeah, and so they're providing a portfolio of products to replace what's currently offered for the accident plan. It's proposed through Aetna. Instead of having two plans, they combined it into one plan, and their savings in the premiums on that plan of the accident. So it covers you 24 hours if you have kids that play sports or just in general. I would, have an accident policy, so this is good. The critical illness is also proposed with Aetna, and so that covers specific disease states, that heart attack, heart stroke, it's a critical illness for specified diseases. The benefit matches and the premiums are competitive with what's currently offered. A cancer plan is new, and so cancer plans exist specifically for that dread disease. It's common to have a standalone cancer plan, and so we're going to offer that two options now, a basic and an enhanced for employees to purchase. And hospital indemnity. So if you had a hospital stay, this benefit pays a benefit for the hospital admission and a daily benefit to help cover that $2,500 deductible. And those, you can see those plans are very competitive as well. So we've done a really good job, thorough job here. One additional is a permanent life insurance. The stuff you buy, the group term life, is not always, you're not able to keep it. This you can buy, it's a permanent life insurance. Low premiums, you can buy for your spouse and children, again, at very low premiums. And so we thought this was a good add to round out the voluntary benefit offering for the city.
If you'll look, if you look through the voluntary benefits, this is a great product for our employees, where if they've not been able to afford it in the past based on the old premiums, the new premiums that are coming in is very affordable. I mean, it's basically, some of them cut them in half. So a great product on the volunteer piece.
And there's plenty of doctors in the area that accept it?
All of the supplemental plans, the voluntary stuff, are mostly indemnity benefits, so that doesn't matter what doctor or network you go to, it's paying per instance, per occurrence.
Yes, so for like the cancer policy, so I got an Aflac that's not with the city, it's on my own plan. So there's a benefit for wellness. So once I go to the wellness, whether it's the dentist, whether it's me being a man, or being over 50, whatever it is, I go in and say, I went to the doctor on this day, blah, 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 and then they'll next day deposit in my account $75. So it helps with offsetting those out-of-pocket costs.
So the recommendations then on slide 27, we recommend moving from TML Health to Blue Cross Blue Shield. We recommend moving from Guardian to Renaissance. That's a 2-year rate guarantee on the dental. Vision with VSP is a 3-year rate guarantee. All of the life disability that's currently with Sun Life to Renaissance with a 3-year rate guarantee on the life and 2-year on the long-term disability and short-term disability, and then replacing the worksite park package with Sun Life with First Financial Group.
With the life insurance policy, just so that we go with you and everything, and is it a certain amount of time that you would have to be in it before the benefit become effective?
No, it's effective on 10/1. There is provision, the only provision that prevents coverage is a suicide clause. If you commit suicide within the first 2 years of the policy, then there's not a benefit paid. And that's a typical life insurance policy, but everyone that's covered on 10/1 will be covered in full. There's no waiting period.
Does this require any changes by the employee in their healthcare provider?
No, it's the same Blue Cross Blue Shield program that you have today.
Okay.
Good question.
What is the percentage that Blue Cross Blue Shield has gone up over the past 5 years versus TML?
It would vary, by group, whereas the TML Health is a pooled approach to renewal, which, the city has been subsidizing other higher cost employers in the pool. But we have managed very many fully insured groups with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Again, the increase depends somewhat on the city's experience, but the city of Tomball, Santa Fe, Dickinson, there's a lot of groups that we have that are with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we manage that renewal process. Again, the health insurance rates are only guaranteed for 12 months, and so we're going to be monitoring that, and if need be, we will go back out to market next year with Aetna, United, Cigna to see where they put your benefits. But I wouldn't make a recommendation to make the change if I didn't think it was in the city's best interest. You're not only increasing 13%, you're also saving an additional 8%. So it's too big of a financial swing to not make the change, in my opinion.
I don't know enough about your specific business, but I do know that as somebody that uses health insurance a lot, and there's always questions about, well, is this really covered? And so the customer service aspect is something that would be concerned about. Does Peggy have access to you or to someone on your team 24/7, or is it just Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but on Canada time? Or
yeah, no, we actually implemented a employee benefit call center to replace a program called the Purple Card that was offered under Brinson, and so we have the My Benefits Champion or Employee Benefits Call Center. I don't think it's not 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, but I don't know the exact hours if it's 24/7.
It's a Monday.
Yeah, so we have a call center that
12-hour shift or something like that.
Answer questions on any of the coverages, benefits, assist with locating providers, those additions. We don't want that to fall on Peggy's desk.
Sure.
I'd be the first line, the call center would be the first line, and if we're not getting something. So we've had good feedback on the call center already.
Good.
Customer service is the reason we switched from Brinson Benefits to Hub International. And so understanding, so Julian and his group understands what our needs were, and having experience with those was great to do that. There are many things that we went through the process that Brinson Benefits didn't provide to us, and actually are still not telling our employees and communicating. And so this is something that Hub International is known for, is that customer service piece.
Well, I'm a little confused on the Brinson, we were with TML.
So Brinson is a third-party consultant, just like Hub International, the same thing. And they go out and help cities find the providers that is best for the city. And we have in the past went out and got TML, but we don't bid out everything else. TML, we just use TML. So TML has their own group that you go through.
But it was Blue Cross.
They go out and do the bids for it. So we had the city, we had Brinson Benefits, and TML, and then Blue Cross Blue Shield. We cut one of the middle people out.
Okay.
So now we have the city, Hub International, Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Bottom line is the carrier's the same.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So the
But the
preferred,
reason it's cheaper, so you'll know, is they use the book of business for Blue Cross Blue Shield with similar cities and organizations as ourselves. Where before, when we were through TML, you used TML's entire pool. When your neighboring city might have several open heart surgeries that part of their claims, and we haven't, we get dinged for what they've had.
well, but we've also been dinged because we had,
Correct. I got it. But typically, when looking at our experience, we should be seeing a decrease based on our experience, and that's what we were explaining. But yet we were getting 10% last year, and they want to do a 13%. So at a 2-year period, 23% increase. And that's crazy.
yeah. And we don't really feel like we're burning any bridges. I mean, a lot of cities make these moves. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't ever like to burn bridges.
We're not burning any bridges at all. We have some clients that are in the TML pool, and some, they're not actually able to use that name anymore. It's Texas Health something. They're not called TML pool anymore. But we have clients that go directly to Blue Cross and clients that have participated in the pool in the past. It's a cleaner process, more straightforward process. The pool had some benefits, but those were waning as far as the city was concerned.
Well, and potentially, if they were concerned about losing business, they would do more to make it look pretty, right? I mean, they would have worked harder to.
Theoretically.
We're just 95 to 100
Right.
group to the large pool. So
Now, workers' comp, that's in, where's that?
So, Peggy, so all of our liability and workers' comp, all that is still with TML.
The IRP.
Yeah, so your liability coverage on your building and vehicles, workers' comp is still, it's not changing. It's only for the healthcare piece.
Yes.
Under the preferred pharmacies, it has the list of them there. I guess, is that different than what we've had before?
The exclusion of CVS is different.
We don't have CVS right now anyway, doesn't matter, but
Is that what it says?
not here
Yeah,
anyway.
CVS is right.
Most of the grocery,
Yeah.
that's not a complete list, but those are the more common ones.
I just didn't, I saw Brookshire's, but we have Brookshire Brothers, so I don't know if that's
That's,
pulling away
No, I think
something
it's,
we had
it's
before.
just generally,
Don't want somebody to lose that access.
Yeah, experience has always been that Blue Cross Blue Shield has kind of moved away from the CVS piece. But Walgreens, yeah,
They own Aetna now.
yeah.
So they want to Aetna wants to do business with CVS, and Blue Cross has a competitive advantage, is not going to do business with CVS.
We need to go after Walgreens instead of CVS.
Exactly.
Right?
I get confused by all the acronyms. What's AD&D?
Accidental death and dismemberment.
Okay.
There's life benefit, and then there's a double benefit if plane crash or car crash or
Right.
lose an eye, lose a finger, lose a toe.
And I'm sure that someone has heard some rumblings from staff, whether this is good, bad, or otherwise, and so I guess you're bringing it to us, so staff is happy about the potential.
So before you is your budget book, and we have explained to council, to the staff about some of the changes and stuff, of what's going to be included in this. We have talked to them about some great opportunities for the health benefits being a savings. I've not heard anything negative to date.
Well, because there's really nothing that's being taken away, really, from what I can see.
Yeah, and their price is going down, so.
Yeah, and the price is going down. And the budget's been prepared with these new rates too.
Don't want to pressure you.
You're right.
187 pages.
Yeah.
And the reason you have this before you so early before the budget is because we got open enrollment that we have to have. So we gotta get all the documentation, Hub International's gotta get everything ready to go. Open enrollment's August 21st. And so we gotta get enough time for Peggy and Hub International to get everything done so all of our employees can get their new benefit cards and everything done by October 1st. Because unlike some health insurance that go in effect January 1st, these actually go in effect October 1st.
That's in line with our fiscal year.
Yes, sir.
And they won't have any lapse of anything, correct?
Correct. And we're going to be working with them about the deductible piece too, right? Yeah.
They'll still have a couple of months that they would have
Yeah, so I can't remember how that works.
paid a deductible, and now they're gonna have a
Deductible.
full deductible due?
No. Whatever if someone has met deductible for the year, they will get credit for whatever they've met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And say
And
that
out of
again.
pocket, the 20% too.
The year is 12 months?
It's a calendar year,
It is a
January, so the renewal is in October, but the benefit is January through December.
Whatever illness that a person is sent along
Currently
to
being-
right now will be just carried over.
Yeah, all of the Affordable Care Act stuff fixed that in terms of pre-existing conditions or take care of takeover provisions. So there's not going to be any lapse in coverage or treatment otherwise. And again, they'll get credit for any deductible or out-of-pocket maximum they've met so far this year.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the bids submitted for employee health care benefits as well as the recommendations of Hub International and authorize the city manager to sign and execute all necessary contracts and agreements for fiscal year 23-24, City of Navasota employee health care benefits, including but not limited to medical, dental, vision, life insurance, AD&D, and long and short-term disability benefits.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve or to authorize the city manager to sign and execute necessary contracts and agreements for the city with regard to employee health care benefits through Hub International. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 5, consideration of possible action on Resolution 747-23, authorizing the creation of an employee benefits trust, designating the city manager, chief financial officer, and human resources director to be trustees of said trust, and authorizing the trust to purchase various forms of insurance for the benefit of city officers, employees, qualified retirees, and their dependents.
Mayor and council, I'm going to ask Julian to stay here because I know you might have some questions on this. So I'm going to go through the agenda request here. I've done this in several other cities, and so insurance companies, they're assessed a tax on the premiums collected from the insured block of business. The obligation of the tax is that the insurance company, unlike sales tax, in which the obligation is that of the purchaser. Therefore, as insurance companies are building their rates, they include a premium tax along with their administrative cost and the expected claims cost. So under insurance code, it allows insurance companies to exclude certain collected premiums from the gross collected premiums in calculating the tax they owe. One of the exclusions allowed is the premium collected from a trust established by a city. So the Comptroller of Public Accounts, who administers the tax rules, has determined that trusts must exist for the sole purpose of administering the city's health, life, and accident insurance needs. Trust must also insure city's employees, retirees, and their dependents. And lastly, for premiums to be excluded, either the premiums collected must be directly from the trust bank account or the policy must be issued to the trust. So the premium tax is around 1.75%, and it's embedded in the rates. So the rates that you see up there, they're in those rates that our insurance companies charge us. As I mentioned, currently, we're with Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool, which we selected as the provider for Blue Cross Blue Shield for our medical. Navitas is for our prescriptions, Guardians for our dental, and iMed is for our visions, as Julian indicated earlier. For the city to take advantage of this premium tax, we would need to create what we call a single non-profit trust and name the trustees. Upon a trust agreement would be prepared between the city and the trustees, City Council would need to approve the agreement. If the City Council approves the creation of this trust, the staff will go and open up a separate account at the Citizen State Bank. It'll be part of our group that we already have there. All of our premiums that we pay for these benefits will be paid out of that account. Currently, right now, when you get a check for accounts payable, whatever, it's from our main operating account. Or when you actually get your payroll, if we write you a check, it comes from our payroll account. Similar to that, we'll have a separate account set up for the trust where all of our payments for medical premiums will come from that. We need to start it out with a $10 account, just have $10 in there. As the premiums become due, we'll be transferring operating funds when needed to this account and make those payments. The city's already budgeted for the cost of the insurance premiums, which, as I mentioned, is in the budget that's been prepared for you. So there's really no other cost associated with this. All I have for you tonight is asking for your approved resolution 747-23, which authorizes the creation of an employee benefit trust designating myself, the chief financial officer, and the human resources director to be the trustees of said trust, and authorizing the trust to purchase various forms of insurance for the benefit of city officers, employees, qualified retirees, and their dependents.
Why didn't we have this before?
So with TML, it's under an interlocal agreement, and they're established as a risk pool, and so they're exempt by virtue of being a risk pool. So this is just the next conduit that the city needs with purchasing on the insurance market. Every other city that doesn't go through an interlocal has a trust agreement to forego on fully insured premiums.
And there's no liability on our part for any of this, correct? It's all going to be set up and not going to be a...
No, it's not you. It's 2% off, basically. Yes, sir.
Is this tax collected or is it just forgiven, it's just forgotten about?
So that you can go explain this. It's in.
The tax is not applicable to the current program with TML, but it is applicable on a direct purchase of coverage by the city. And so it's collected by the insurance company and remitted as a sales tax on their services, not paid through premiums. So this diverts the need to assess that 1.75 tax on the city's plans.
So by doing it through this trust, we don't have to pay that
You're exempt.
exempt?
Exempt.
Okay.
And if we say next year we decide to go out for bids and we decide, hey, we're going to look at TML again, and we go back to TML, then we wouldn't need to use this. But the trust would already be set up in case we ever have to go back.
And there shouldn't be any IRS issues.
No, sir. No, sir. So again, it's through the state tax, and I've done this twice at two other cities. It's not a hard process, and it saves some tax dollars.
Okay. We have the trustees, but we have a plan administrator. Who is that?
Well, it just says the city is the plan administrator appointed to administer the plan, so it's the city. So I'm assuming it would be, the city council would be the plan administrator.
Are we assuming or are we knowing?
It's the city of Navasota is the plan administrator. I mean, the staff of the city is the plan administrator. Peggy administers the benefits as much as eligibility or enrollment or billing and that type of information would be what's considered, because they're really self-functioning plans. It's not an administration, it's just the package of benefits of being administered.
Does this make it easier for you, Peggy?
Yeah, we'll work through Maribel to get it all set up again. So right now, when we write, something comes out of the payroll account, we don't actually have to go physically and say, move money from here to here. The bank automatically sees, hey, something's been done out of this account, move money from our operating account to this account. It'd be the similar thing we set with this. The checks will be written, we'll have to have special checks written from this new account. Again, it's only going to be 3 or 4 checks a month that'll be written from this account. Once those try to clear, then the operating account will fund it.
So they come out of that account and not out of the general fund?
It comes out of the general fund.
It comes out of all the funds that where we have employees, but it will come out of the operating account. The operating account, we used a pooled cash system. So we have one cash account, and depending on your equity you have in each of your funds, that's how much cash you get. It's very confusing.
So this is a separate fund, but not necessarily
It
a
is a
separate account?
separate account.
Separate account.
Separate account. Yes, sir.
Bucket.
Separate bucket. Yes, sir.
Is that then going to have any long-term effect on our general fund?
No, sir.
Or
It will be
any
part.
considerations
So it will be part
that?
of. It will be part of the general fund. It will be restricted. So when you talk about fund balance, it will not be. It won't be part of that unassigned fund balance. It will be restricted. But again, there's not going to be you're not going to have anything in the account until at the end of the year, unless there's a timing issue. For every check that's written, the amount will come from the general operating account and fund it. So it's a net zero account, except for $10 that we're going to put in it.
Well, it talks about it being non-profitable, but then it talks about it being able to invest.
There's not going to be.
It gives
an
a list of
asset
things
with- Yeah, it's not for profit because the city is a not-for-profit
right.
entity, and it doesn't have an asset base to grow. It's a zero basis account, so there won't be any residual funds for
There's a
investment.
big section in there saying what you can invest in.
Right, and again, we're going to have $10 in the account, and right now there's not, the interest rates are, we're not going to have a lot of interest in it. So, but yes, it will accumulate over time, that $10.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve Resolution 747-23.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve Resolution 747-23, authorizing the creation of Employee Benefits Trust, designating the city managers, chief financial officer, and human resources director to be trustees of said trust, and authorizing the trust to purchase various forms of insurance for the benefit of city officers, employees, qualified retirees, and their dependents. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 6, consideration of possible action to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Hawes Hill and Associates LLP to perform certain professional services with respect to amending the TERS 1 Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone 1 boundaries in Navasota, Texas.
Mayor, members of council, if you remember last spring, around summertime, we started moving forward with the creation of the tax increment reinvestment zone for the area east of town. So that got created. The cost of Hawes Hill, which came and did the presentation at the time, it was less than $50,000. So I explained to you about it. You were all in agreement to move forward, so really didn't have to get approval for that because it was under the 50,000 state threshold. So now that the annexations have occurred, and the Altamira development out there that Chandler Arden's going to be developing has now been annexed in. His request is to have the entire parcel of his property to be in the TERS. In addition to that, now that that is the furthest point of the city limits grew by another mile. And so the idea is to come back and encompass all of that portion within the TERS to actually grow the TERS out to the new area that's grown out. And so the expectation when I came to you then was at some point when we do this and we get it all out there, we're going to have to expand the TERS. And so there's an additional cost of that. And so the additional cost is $15,000. So that puts me over the $50,000 threshold for like services within a year. And so tonight I'm coming to you to ask request to approve me to execute that contract with Haas Hill to move forward with amending the TERS for the new boundaries. And there's a map included in your packet that includes those new boundaries. And just so you'll know, we are projected to get about $14,000 on the TERS for next year. That's how much based on the base value. So it'll pay for this expansion.
Yeah. And that acreage you're talking about is that 96.6 acres?
Yes, sir. So if you'll see there, when we first did it, it stopped right there about halfway through.
Yeah.
And so now that's been annexed in, the idea is to go all the way out to the current ETJ boundary.
Yeah.
And that amount allows Haas Hill to go back through that same process we did. So we'll be coming back to you for public hearings and for further action as we increase it. Tonight is just to approve me executing the contract with Haas Hill to put that together.
And that's not a flat fee, is it?
That is a flat fee.
Thought it said in there that the bills would be
So
individually submitted.
So they would be submitted on a monthly basis, but it's not going to go over the 15, correct?
I move to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Haas Hill and Associates LLP to perform certain professional services with respect to amending the TERS 1 Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone 1 boundary.
Second.
Motion by myself, second by Schultz to approve the authorization. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 7, consideration and possible action on the first reading of ordinance 1027-23, authorizing the settlement of the proposed fuel reconciliation of Entergy Texas, Inc.
Mayor, members of council, tonight you have before you a request that we received from the Lawton Law Firm. It's the firm that we work with, where we have other member cities that have services through Entergy, and they work on our behalf to make sure we have the best interest of our customers and our residents. And so on July 26th, we received communication from the Lawton Law Firm updating member cities on the status of Entergy's application to reconcile fuel and purchase power costs, which is currently pending at the PUC of Texas. The application, Entergy requests to reconcile approximately $1.67 billion in fuel and purchase power expenses incurred between April of 2019 through March, the end of March of 2022. After accounting for Entergy's fuel factor revenues from the same period, Entergy calculated that it had under-recovered the fuel and purchase power expenses during the reconciliation period by nearly $90.3 million. Entergy requests to add $12.8 million to under-recovery balance pursuant to the PUC's rule that allows utilities to retain 10% of the margins earned on their off-system sales. Instead of requesting a surcharge to collect the under-recovery balance and retained off-system sales margins, Entergy requested a total of a little over $103 million be carried forward as the beginning balance for subsequent reconciliation periods beginning April 1st of 2022. Through the filed testimony of expert consultants, cities raised issues with the way the Entergy calculated its all-system sales margins and recommended that the PUC deny Entergy's request to retain the $12.8 million. In the alternative, the city's expert consultants recommended that PUC disallow $5.17 million of the requested $12.8 million because Entergy included transactions in its margins calculations that should have not been classified as all-system sales. No other party raised any issues with Entergy's application. Entergy, the PUC, commission, staff, and other intervening parties have reached a final agreement regarding Entergy's fuel reconciliation application. Entergy's request retained all-system sales margins from $12.8 million to all-system sales margins from $12.8 million to $9.25 million. As a result, the under recovery balance to be carried over into next fuel reconciliation period will be approximately $99.6 million instead of the $103.1 million. In summary, there will be no rate impact on customers at this time, as Entergy did not request a fuel surcharge in these proceedings. Given the cost of litigation, the litigation risk, our consultant law firm, the Lawton Law Firm, believes the proposed settlement is reasonable and recommends that the City of Navasota and other cities approve the settlement agreement. Settlement of this case reduces the risk of any unanticipated or negative outcomes and reduce litigation expense. We've provided an ordinance for council to approve. It's 1027-23, authorizing the settlement of the proposed fuel reconciliation with Entergy. However, if the council chooses not to act on this, then silence will be made as that you are agreement, and they'll move, and the Lawton Law Firm will move forward. So either you can deny this, and we can send this back to the Lawton Law Firm saying you denied it. You can take no action. No action would basically send a message that you approve it, or if you just want to prove it, since there's no rate impact to their customers, you can do that as well.
This is the reason that we are involved with Lawton Law Firm and using their expertise, because we can't come anywhere close to it. Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the first reading of ordinance 1027-23, authorizing a settlement of the proposed fuel reconciliation of Entergy Texas Incorporated.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gessner, second by Mr. Fultz to approve first reading of ordinance 1027-23. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 8, consideration and possible action on authorization of the City of Navasota to issue requests for proposals, RFPs, for grant administrative services and requests for qualifications, RFQs, for hazard mitigation grant program administered through the Texas Division of Emergency Management.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So yes, we are seeking approval to move forward with an RFP for grant administration services and a request for qualifications for engineering services for this hazard mitigation grant program. It's administered through TDM, and the City of Navasota has a very good chance of being selected. For the 23 to 24 fiscal year, TDM has allocated $7 to $8 million for this. It is very competitive within our region. Of the amount that we request, there is a matching requirement of 25%. Staff has identified the need for generators at several public works facilities locations, which is an eligible activity with this program. Since this is a federal grant, it does require extensive amount of paperwork with the application process, and in order to meet all the documentation requirements, we think it would be beneficial to hire a firm to assist our grant coordinator with this. Therefore, we're recommending that City Council approve the proposal to seek out grant administration assistance and engineering services for the grant process.
Do we have 25% to match?
So we got in your budget, there's some allocations in there for those type things. Yes, ma'am. For next year.
It's a lot.
Yes, sir.
Well, that wouldn't be what we'd apply for, 7 to 8 million.
No.
No, so they have 7 to 8 million to give out.
Yeah, that's the total.
That's the total.
Yeah, okay.
I think in our budget, when you'll see it, I think we've got around 254,000 budgeted
Okay.
for next year.
Okay. That's fine. And is it primarily generators, or is it?
The generators is just one of the expenditures that we know we need. It's just something we need, and so there was something just off the top of our head that we could think of. But again, as we go through the process, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, the program is to set up measures that will reduce disaster losses. So anything that falls under that umbrella.
Yeah.
And generators is something we really need now, right now, especially at I think it's the wastewater treatment plant.
Lift station.
Lift stations, of course, yes.
So we'll go to people like Grant Works and all management.
So we send out, we'll open up the RFP, and just so you'll know, Grant Works, Public Management, Trailer Associates, I can't think of everybody else.
Yeah.
They're the ones that tell us generally about these grants.
Right.
And so we open it up, and they're the ones that submit.
Yeah.
And they might have a specialty. So again, the recent one that we did with, for gas, the gas piece, that was Grant Works, because they pretty well knew that. And so Public Management didn't send anything. So it's competitive, but they also have their small niche that they like. And so it will come to you once we get those qualifications back.
This is to be funded in
23, 24.
in 24,
Yes,
more
sir.
than likely.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Within the budget
Yes, sir.
timeframe.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we issue a request for proposals for grant administrative services and request for qualifications for hazard mitigation grant program administered through the Texas Department of Emergency Management.
Motion by Mr. Gessner, second by Mr. Phillips, to approve authorization for the city of Navasota to issue RFPs for grant services and request RFQs for hazard mitigation grant program administered through TDM. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries.
Thank you.
Item 9, consideration and possible action on the first reading of ordinance 1028-23, amending Chapter 1, General Provisions, Article 1.04, Boards, Committees, and Commissions of the Code of Ordinances, City of Navasota, by adding Division 5, creating the Navasota Music Friendly Committee.
Mayor and City Council, changing directions here and talking about something a little bit more exciting. The Navasota Music Friendly designation. So we've been working really hard to become designated as a Texas music friendly community, and as part of this designation process and its requirements with the state of Texas, a city music friendly committee must be formed. So there are lots of benefits to becoming obviously a music-friendly community. This program will provide, Texas communities with a network for fostering music industry development, and it sends out a clear message to our industry professionals that certified communities are serious about attracting and developing music industry growth. So we definitely want to be a part of that. So as part of this designation, we've already completed various steps, such as hosting a Texas Music Office-sponsored music-friendly Texas community-wide workshop. We've also established a music office liaison within the city of Navasota, and they're going to be responsible for monthly reports concerning the progress of the local music industry development and the programs. And we've also registered with the Texas Music office's Texas Music Industry Directory. We've signed a mutually agreed upon memorandum of understanding, and we have created a music directory database for the city. So the creation and formation of this music-friendly committee is one of the final steps to allow the city to apply to become certified by the state. So this is definitely something we want to move forward with. Do you have any questions?
What music are we talking about?
Well, it's all varieties. It's just basically encouraging music in the city and in our surrounding areas. So just to keep, this industry alive and help out our local music artists and create a local music scene and pay homage to our heritage here with the blues capital of Texas. So there are a lot of benefits that come with it.
Is it only commercial, or is it, we have an award-winning choir up at the high school?
So
Now
it's all of those components. So we will partner with the school, non-for-profits, local community businesses. It'll help showcase and highlight everyone involved in the music scene here in Navasota.
Okay.
And does this put us on a website? Is that, or we get some kind of logo that gets to go on our?
Yeah, we'll get a fancy little logo and a little designation clock. And then, of course, that database will be on the state's website for Navasota, as well as our website for Navasota. So, and obviously we have to maintain that database, so we'll be working with the committee that's formed to maintain that database for Navasota, and obviously the local organizations around to make sure we're up to date on that.
What tangible results do we have? What is who's going to look at this and say, oh, Navasota's music friendly, let's go there?
So it helps create Navasota as more of a destination. So obviously we have our film friendly designation with the state, so that helps us to create, have access to creating movies in our town. This allows us to, become more a part of the music scene. We already are well established with a lot of our events, our musical events, which continue to put us on the map.
Now, we're certified on that movie thing, aren't we?
Yes, we are a certified Texas film friendly community.
So now we can play music with the movie.
Yes, so now they've opened up the Texas music-friendly designation, so we're just working towards having that designation. There are a lot of other cities surrounding us. Burnham's already a certified music-friendly city. College Station is on the way to becoming a Texas music-friendly certified city. Bryan is already certified, so it'll help just continue to put us on the map, help draw in some more, visitors, to everything that we have to offer here.
It's literally putting us on the map, because there's a map.
Literally, yeah.
It's literally putting us on a map, because the map with the Texas Music Office, they have a whole trail, the music trail through Texas that they've been working on, and this will help secure our space on that.
Yeah, and it opens up, doors to, the state promotes it for us, so marketing wise, they will do their own marketing for people who are Texas music friendly certified. So they have their own realm of pushing for that, certification for those cities who are certified. So, this definitely was something we want to be a part of.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's funding available to the cities as well.
Yes, that is correct.
I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad that you pointed it out, and I move to approve the first reading of ordinance 1028-23.
Second.
Thank you.
James, I think you beat her on that.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to talk about a couple of things in the ordinance. We're talking about the terms for the citizen members of 1 year. And we're talking about a minimum of one meeting a quarter. I don't know if the people could get involved and do anything in that time. I'd like to recommend we change that to 2 years.
So you're talking about section 1.04.132?
Yes.
From 1 year to 2 year?
Yes. And we're talking about officers, and we're talking about the communications director is going to be the lead member, the chairman of this, and then we'll have a vice chair and a secretary, and they're only talking about 4 members, 2 of them from outside. I'd like to increase that to at least a couple more than that because of the various types of music that we have in this town.
Yeah, it says at least two, so that would allow us to probably,
Yeah, so it's
we
not,
can
you're not,
increase that.
it's not, you can add more, so it just says at least two.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, because we need more because we have the interest in the music. I asked this before because through my spouse, I'm deeply involved in some of the music. The Music Study Club, which is one thing with the older music, including church music and classical music. And then we have, of course, the commercial music, and then we have the school music, the band and the choir, and working real hard to develop those programs. So just to get a representative from each one of those, I can see the need to have at least 4 people on there, other than the 2 members from the.
Yeah, we can make some amendments to the.
Now, whether it's sufficient to just say it has to have at least 4, or whether we want to.
Yeah, I'd like to leave it at least for 2, but I want to get back to, so we have a motion on the table with Josh. So Josh, are you okay with us moving forward from 1 year to 2 year?
Was this ordinance something that you took from someone else, or is?
So our legal counsel put the ordinance together.
Yeah, but I'm just, is there a reason that someone else chose 1 year versus 2? Do you have any?
I mean, it was just on there. I mean, they can be voted back in. But again, it's a committee, so it's a little bit different to, a commission
Committee
or an
is,
advisory
yes.
board. We've never had a committee before, which is why we wrote it like this. Their role isn't to, tell us who needs to be on Texas Birthday Bash or put funds out on who's going to be performing at Sounds of Summer. This is purely a committee to help encourage music in the city of Navasota, and to help come together, maintain a database, and help promote music in this area.
They probably just provided a template that said, here's a sample of kind of
Yeah.
what you can do, right? And we just expanded.
You're okay
on it.
with 2 years?
I'm okay with 2 years.
Okay, then I would agree to amend my motion to 2 years.
Are you okay, James, with that?
And I would not want to amend the motion to add extra folks to the
Okay.
committee.
Go ahead.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Is that it? Okay.
No, we got this book.
Huh?
No. That's next week.
Yeah, but let's don't, not tonight, no. We're adjourned.